Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful spiritual texts ever written, the Bhagavad Gita. It's basically a guide to life, duty, and who we really are. And believe it or not, this entire epic conversation happens right on the edge of a massive world-changing war.
So picture this. You're on the battlefield of Kurukṣetra. Two gigantic armies are facing off, ready to fight. You can just feel the tension in the air. You hear the roar of war trumpets and conch shells. I mean, the stakes are absolutely as high as they can possibly get.
But here's the twist. This isn't just any war. Imagine looking across that battlefield and seeing your cousins, your favorite teachers, your closest friends. That's the gut-wrenching choice at the heart of this whole story. What do you do?
And right in the middle of all this is our hero, the incredible warrior Arjuna. He's known as the greatest archer in the world, but he's about to face a problem that, well, no amount of skill with a bow and arrow is going to solve.
As Arjuna looks at the faces of the people he has to fight, his own family, he just breaks. His whole body has this intense physical reaction. His arms and legs start shaking, his mouth goes completely dry, and he's just hit with this overwhelming wave of grief. He can't do it. He cannot fight the people he loves.
This is his breaking point. He literally throws down his legendary bow and arrows. He turns to his charioteer, who happens to be Lord Krishna in disguise, and says it plain and simple. Govinda, I shall not fight. He's completely paralyzed by his own emotions.
Now, you'd expect Krishna to give him a big speech about victory and duty, right? A real military pep talk. But he doesn't. Instead, he starts this incredible philosophical teaching that is meant to totally flip Arjuna's understanding of reality, starting with who he really is.
Krishna's very first lesson is about this idea of the Atman, which you can think of as the true self or the soul. He tells Arjuna, look, who you really are, it's not your body. It's not your feelings right now. It's this eternal, indestructible soul inside of you that has always existed and will always exist.
So Krishna draws this really clear line in the sand. He says the body is kind of like a set of clothes you're wearing. It's temporary. It was born, it will die. But the soul, the Atman, that's the real you. It's timeless. It's the unchanging core that exists way beyond birth and death. And this quote from the Gita just says it all, doesn't it? He is not slain when the body is slain. Now, Krishna isn't trying to say war isn't tragic. What he's doing is trying to get Arjuna to shift his perspective from the temporary physical world to the eternal, spiritual reality of the self.
Okay, so once Arjuna starts to grasp this idea that he is this eternal self, Krishna gives him a practical way to actually live and act in the world. This is the how-to part, the path that will free him from all that grief and confusion.
He introduces this amazing concept called karma yoga, basically the yoga of action. And the core idea is pretty radical. It says that true freedom isn't found by running away from your responsibilities. It's found by engaging with them, but in a totally different way, doing your duty without being attached to the results. And the practice is actually pretty straightforward. First, you do what you have to do, your duty. But here's the absolute key. You have to let go of the outcome. You're not doing it to win or for fear of losing. You're doing it simply because it's the right thing to do. And when you do that, the work itself becomes a kind of meditation.
And this isn't just about big things like fighting a war. This applies to everything. Krishna tells Arjuna to treat every single action, even something as simple as eating, as a sacred offering. When you shift your mindset like that, you're no longer motivated by what you can get out of it, and that frees you from all the anxiety about the result.
So, to help Arjuna figure out how to act in the right way, Krishna then breaks down the invisible forces that are always influencing our thoughts and our actions. It's like he's giving Arjuna a map to understand his own mind and the world.
And these forces are called the gunas. You can think of them as three basic energies or qualities that make up everything in the material world. Everything, including us, is a mix of these three modes.
Let's break these down real quick. Sattva is all about goodness, purity, and knowledge. It leads to clarity. Then you have Rajas, which is passion, ambition, and intense activity. That one often ends in misery and stress. And finally, there's Tamas, which is ignorance, laziness, and confusion. So Arjuna's despair, it's a mix of passionate grief, that's Rajas, and that feeling of wanting to just give up, which is Tamas. By seeing these forces, we can start to see what's really driving us.
As Arjuna takes all of this in, the fog begins to lift. He understands he has to fight. Not because he's angry, and not for glory,
but because it's his duty, and he can do it with a clear mind, free from attachment. And you know, this ancient wisdom is just as powerful for us today as we navigate our own modern battlefields.
So, what's the big takeaway from the Gita? It's that you are so much more than your body or your current situation. Real freedom comes from doing what you must do, but without letting success or failure control your emotions. This idea of selfless action is the ultimate key to finding peace, even when life feels like a total war zone.
And that really brings us to one final thought. The whole point of the Gita is to free us from being paralyzed by fear and desire. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. If you truly feared no outcome, no failure, no criticism, no loss, what would you do? What action would you take today?